Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Zwift Community Live broadcast of the KISS eCrit European Edition presented by Tacx. Today we are out on the volcano course for the men's and the women's competition. And this is a series of competitions in which the top 10 from the men's and the women's out of Europe will be going to a live final. Through an invitation, actually, by winning these, by qualifying for those top 10s in the races. I've with me here for the broadcast, joining me, my co-commentator is going to be today, Mr. Quentin LaFay. How's it going there, Quentin? Good to have you with us. Super excited to see how things are going to work out today in the men's and women's races.
Yeah, hi everyone, and yeah, it's definitely going to be a fun race. And we saw some upsets last week, and we can definitely expect some this week as well. But
Yeah, for sure.
the main thing is
Quentin,
that,
real quick, I wanted
yeah,
to just jump in. And speaking of last week, before we get going here, I just wanted to update everybody on what happened last week. There was a couple upsets, like you said. And series leader Kim Little out here, Rachel Elliott out there today as well in the women's race, it looks like, but was absent last week. We've got, it looks like, in the women's race. Make sure we got the right race coming through here. But in the women's race, looks like we have 22 in the pens right now. Probably pushing up into the 50s, though, that are signed up, and they're still jumping into the pens in there. But Rachel Elliott present again. Looks like 179 total in the men's. But let's take a quick look at how things played out in both the men's and the women's finishes last week to give an idea of what the action was like out on the classic course. Very early arrow power up going from way out. Kim Little now trying to follow up here, as you can see here, but it's going to be Bishop now. Bishop with a second over the rest of the group now, but I'm not sure he's gonna be able to hold this off. Here comes the pack, full on V-male style at the front, but no arrow power up. I don't think he's gonna be able to do it without that arrow power up. It's gonna be a late arrow power up, I'm not sure, but here goes Chris Wonos now. Chris Wonos off the front. Chris Wonos with, it looks like the easy race. I'm not sure. 12 watts per kilogram. He fades though. No, he gets nipped at the line. I think the coaster. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure. We're going to have to look at the replay. What happened there? Was that the coaster? Guy to coaster.
yeah. And well, if they have an opportunity to go away, they will try it because they know in a one-on-one sprint anything can happen, pretty much.
So this is your winner on the day here. Patricia Angerman takes the W over Falk here now, as you can see. Now Falk will be taking down that second place and not too concerned, it looks like, about the chase pack at this point. But Cassie Baldy here is going to have to be thinking about the sprint behind, but it's not going to be going anywhere. It does look like is that 14 seconds between her and Sedman. So that will be first, second, and third on the day, but we still have a sprint effort to be taking place here, as we do see Vanderbilt here coming out of the Netherlands. But here comes Kreider, your second overall right now with an arrow power up, and it looks like Kreider is going to be walking away with this one right here as she throws down that arrow power up and gets that fourth place on the day. Solid effort there coming from Z as she crosses the line. Pole here now making her way. So, Quentin, I mean, within the women's race, definitely a couple of spots were opened up last week for riders to grab some points. Z still sitting in second place. Patricia with that win, though, creeping up into fifth, it looks like. Rachel definitely with average rank of 20 dominating things, though, it looks like still, and out on the start line today.
Yeah, definitely a lot of spots up for grabs. And well, there's still a lot of women able to get one of these top 10 positions.
Yeah, for sure. We are getting a couple. We're getting a little bit of lag between us and Quentin. We'll see if we can get that fixed up before too long into the race. But the men are about to jump out on course here. 218 signed up, it looks like. And let's see the Fast and Furious starts. Always crazy starts within these crit races. We do see watts per kilogram team here with D Crow here making his way to the front. 8 watts per kilogram right now. Looks like Kim Little, though, series leader, still holding on to that overall right now. And looks like a couple of riders there took a left-hand turn for a moment. Perhaps that was just a quick little left there. We'll see if we can get them back out on course. It was probably just a momentary left-hand turn there. We'll see if they do head back the correct direction there in just a moment, though, as sometimes coming out of the pens, things are a little bit crazy. We are seeing Kaiser here as well as Man up toward the front. Burton there from the TFC team. Good to see him as well. And as the riders do jump around from the craziness of the start, it looks like we're going to need to jump back in with maybe the pens with the women here, as we wait for the fan view to figure out where people are at out on course here. S-Mando, 5.3 watts per kilogram, it looks like here, 169 beats per minute right now. And their heart rates definitely rise like crazy, Quentin. From the starts in these races, you know, it's always fast and crazy furious right from the get-go, like a mountain bike or cyclocross start.
Exactly. And we have Man now going into the 170 RPM, so that's a crazy cadence. But
there's most likely some sort of
200.
There's got to be some sort of a malfunction there with 200 there all over the place. I think his cadence monitor is probably misreading a little bit there. But Skog got here, maybe it's about 78, 79, probably a little closer to where the reality is.
Yeah, exactly. But the start is always a very important part of this e-crit race, because you have to make your way to the front group and to the front of the group as well to be able to be a contender in that kind of racing. And well, the riders all expect to do that. They expect that from themselves. And well, if you have any kind of ambition, you have to be there right from the start. And they are very short and very intense races. And that's where you want to be. You want to be in front.
Yeah, so this last week, it was Guy the Coaster that did take that win. If you did not catch that, we were unsure. The sprint was so close, but the Coaster was able to come through at the last second and win by just about, I believe it was a hundredth of a second or so. So it was the Coaster that did take the win last week, starting to creep up in the overalls. Now the women are about to take off from the pens here. 38 total that I saw in the pens. Cassie Baldy here, third place last week. Angerman, the winner last week, being followed very closely by Rachel Elliott, the current series leader in that yellow kit, donning the E-Crit jersey and using a yellowish trying bike, a little bit orange there maybe, but we are seeing Prince here trying to hang on, but maybe not going to happen. Might be 3 right from the get-go here, Quentin. They could just be gone.
Yeah, 5 seconds already. Now the Engerman and Baldy will have to make sure that Elliot doesn't get away, but it seems to be already too late, as she is already 1 second before. And Engerman is the only one trying to hang on to her right from the gun. And so we see Folk and Gray right behind them. But it might be already too late for them.
Yeah, we are seeing, it looks like Engerman does want to try and hang on to that wheel here. Back here, 4.9 watts per kilogram, 179 beats per minute already. Definitely those heart rates just rising like crazy here, as you can see. Now I am seeing, is that a world champions kit actually in the...
It is. That's what I was looking.
What is this kit? I am seeing a world champion kit. Ah, so with Beck here, is that that's an actual world champion kit? Now is that from, what is that from there, Quentin? Do you have a, is that actually from a...
That's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
I think.
We'll see if we can figure out what the result was there that was able to earn that kit in game, but pretty cool to see the World Championship kit there in there, battling it out today here up against the talent that is going to be Angerman and Rachel Elliott. Now already going off the front. She's got 2 seconds, and that's all that she looks for. She definitely just wants that little bit of a gap to try and just start her steady TT pace that she wants to have here. Angerman needs to do everything she can to grab that wheel and hold it. And it looks like she had the effort, and maybe there was just a little bit of lapse there for a moment. And if you let more than 5 meters go and Rachel gains that and is able to break you off that wheel, it'll be good. It's going to be GG for the rest of the day. And Angerman had the right idea in mind, but I'm not sure she'd be able to do it. Now, Elliott, though, maybe fading just a little bit here. Up in that 177, she's continuing to try and break Angerman off, but it might not happen here. Angerman now fading here, 3.0 watts per kilogram, seeing that it might be curtains and trying to stay away for the duration of the entire race out here while chasing Rachel Elliott down might not be the best tactic, and I have a feeling she may be waiting up for the rest of the group that might be hunting her down.
Yeah, she has to be waiting for the group behind her, because there's a lot of very strong riders today, and like we were saying, Hannah Beck in her world champion jersey, it actually comes from a mountain bike world championships that she won a couple of years ago, I believe, in cross country. So I don't really know when. I couldn't find the date, but she seems like she's a cross country world champion, coming from Sweden. So,
Gotcha. So
definitely a lot
champion.
of density. Definitely a lot of density in that peloton with Folk and Beck, Cassiboldi, Angerman if she's caught, and Kreider as well. So maybe the pack is going to be faster than it usually is out on course today.
Yeah, so we are seeing, it looks like Angerman going back to the pack there, about 27 seconds back now. Elliott absolutely walking away now, and it is going to be a battle for second place. We saw it last week. Angerman had the same tactic actually as Rachel Elliott, it seemed like, with a wanting to get away TT attack and able to win, maybe not quite as early as Rachel is doing so here, but Rachel now just wanting to end it and have it be over with from the get-go, and is now walking away. Now we have a huge group of riders now, though, with, as I look through the back of the pack here, 15th place for Vanderbilt here, so it will be 14 riders in this pack. A little bit strung out, though, so definitely going to be a large group of riders now, all battling it out for that second place. But this course continually comes at you from the climb into the volcano. The climb, there's a couple of climbs also halfway through the volcano on the other end of it. And then the couple of attack places that you do have on the downhills, actually, if you want to try and get away as well. So it isn't like a normal crit course in that you have a lot of, on the classic course, a little bit more sitting in, a little more flat sections to deal with. This course, though, just comes at you continually.
Exactly. There's a couple of very short climbs that hurts your legs, basically, and there's never really a recovery place, because even the descents are very fast, and you always try to hang on to whoever you can, and that makes it very difficult and very intense.
Yeah, we're looking through, and it looks like you were saying, I am seeing from some of our productions, actually, Anna Beck, Sweden, UCI World Champion, paracycling September 2017, actually. So she's actually paracycling World Champion from 2017. So that is why that kit is in game. So Anna Beck, watching out for her, 180 beats per minute right now. We'll give her a ride on there. Good to have her in and amongst the field here. Falcon off toward the front here, taking a pole, but Rich Elliott off the front, 33 seconds now, even with a solid 5.5 to 6 watts per kilograms at time, and then fading back into that 4.5 or so. So she's going to be fluctuating a lot, probably from that 4.5 to 6.6 or so at times, but definitely going to average probably over 5 watts per kilogram, as we do see from her often. And, even with that, though, you can see how much a pack working together can keep her within striking distance, but 40 seconds out, 7 minutes in, it's pretty much curtains, I think.
Well, I wouldn't be. Well, it seems to be curtains, but she has a lot less advantage that she's used to have, because usually she gets almost a minute immediately, and that's 20 seconds less that's what she's used to. So I mean, there's a lot of riders, and if they realize that they can chase her down, and it might not be curtains totally. In my opinion, it's still doable for the pack. I mean, you have 5, 6, or 7 riders able to chase, and if they can organize that, maybe not going 5 or 6, but just going between 4 and 5, taking turns, taking swift turns, which are a lot different than the ones you can get on the road. It's still possible to maybe not to come back, but to keep the distance to the point at which it is right now.
So, speaking of breakaways here, so 44 seconds, it's going out pretty good right now, but we'll see if the pack gets motivated, but they're going to have to work together like an entire team to take down the likes of Elliott, it seems like, at this point. But looking in the men's race here now, we are sitting about 18th place with Mr. Kim Little, who is the series leader, but hasn't been able to win the last couple of races out there, and has found himself a little ways off the back in the results, actually. We've seen some fairly consistent rides from a few other riders out there. Now, Guy DeCoaster did take a win last week in a solid sprint finish now. But looking through here, it looks like the most consistent rider has been Jurns Templar, actually. But I haven't seen Templar actually out there in quite a while. Sebastian Sternfalk as well, with an 18-point rank. We are seeing Hargreaves, if he were going to show up on the day, is also extremely consistent lately. But looking through here, Gavin Dempster, actually, with 5 races, the most races out of those who have been most consistent, with a 17 for his rank. For those of you who are unfamiliar, over at zwippower.com, where all the rankings are for the eCrit, they have a new tab on the on the races that ranks riders for their series based on what their average is between all the races that they do. And the closer to 20 you are on that average, the better your ranking is in every single one of the races. It's so the highest ranked with the most races would be Gavin Dempster. I'd be watching out for him out there for consistency for a top spot in the races here, in the race series here. Now looking here, it looks like is this actually Anchor off the front here? No, Cartwright here. It looks like 10.8 kilometers in total at this point. Now, moving forward, it will be Truzinski. It looks like going off the front there from Team Poland. Burton's there as well, trying to find the front end of this group here. We do have Truzinski here. It looks like the, I believe, U23 mountain biker out of Poland, I want to say. Super strong rider, I believe, coming out of Poland here. Now, Phone also out of Switzerland, riding for an elite team there, domestic team there. Anchor there up at the front there, as well as Mestre. And then Burton now making his way to the front, trying not to find himself off the back. So this seems to be a favorite course, though, Quentin, for the likes of Cartwright. It's one of those courses that he can tend to use the difficulty of the course to continually attack like he likes to, without the pack getting too much of an advantage on those flatter sections, because it does come at you continually. We have seen Cartwright get away on this course before. We've seen KRT double up actually in this series before with wins. Is it going to happen, or have the pack kind of figured out how to deal with maybe both him and the likes of Kim Little as being some of the favorites, and have been able to bring them back together?
Well, I'm not sure how it's going to play out today, but the thing is, uh, this crit series has raced twice in the past few weeks on that course. The first one, Cartwright won with an attack from the 1 kilometer mark, and the 1 kilometer mark is just at the bottom of the last climb, of the last hill, and it was his to win basically. And the thing is, with the second one, he attacked much earlier, so he gave the pack some time to build momentum to chase him down, and that's what cost him the win. And now we see riders still already attacking at the front of the climb, the bottom of the climb, sorry. And well, every lap we are going to see this part of the course where riders want to break things off, to try to slim the pack down. And well, we see the pack already coming up. And yeah, I mean, it's very dense and very fast, so it's very hard at that moment of the race to try to do a breakaway with less than 6 or 7 riders.
Yeah, there's definitely a team mentality out there today as well. I mean, looking at the group here up toward the front, I mean, I see all the team tags in the names, all the team jerseys actually out there. BRT coming out in force. It looks like Team Experimentals out here with a few riders. KRT most definitely out there as well. Look at all the KRT jerseys. If you guys are unfamiliar with that jersey, actually, let's go ahead and see if we can find one of the riders in the riders list here. Looking through, we do have One Love out there as well with Adam Webb. Now here's V Mail though, mountain biker here coming out of Norway, elite mountain biker. He's actually won a couple of races out on Zwift recently in some solid sprints. I'd be watching out for him actually on this course specifically with a late attack. He's been able to time some solid sprints for the wins out there. And actually, we've been having a conversation a little bit about him maybe being another rider that KRT is working for along with Cartwright, because both of them being such strong riders, trying to get them both into the final actually, so getting them just enough points from each race to make sure that they're getting into that top 5, the top 10 at the end of the series here. So be watching out for him from the KRT Racing Team. KISS Racing Team, Slick Kit in the game there. It looks like Innovation is also here though. If that is yep, that is going to be P Phone here riding for Innovation in game with that Alienware kit right there, making his way to the front. But there is an attack off the front there with Blaney, as well as another rider, Posted here, coming out of Germany, but no heart rate monitor. There's not sure he's going to be able to take the W out there today. I believe it is on the onus of the riders to have a heart rate monitor on the day in order to be able to take the W, and he will most likely be relegated if he does not have one. Blaney now off the front here. We'll give him a ride on 174 beats per minute. S-Man's trying to get away there with that 182 cadence there, and we've got a little bit of the we'll just leave that one alone. There's an old school video actually from way back up on top of the mountain with the Rogers. What is going on there? We've got a Rogers situation on our hands with the cadences there, Quinton.
The hackers.
The hackers are happening. The hackers are. We're not saying he's actually hacking, guys. It's just a joke. But there's a great video from back in the day of my streaming where the freaking hackers are taking over with their crazy cadences, jumping up on the mountain there. But now we do got Burton here from the TFC team, Friday Criterium, in the house in that CRCA kit with the Yellowtron wheels now, about halfway through their race, 18:15. They've been flying 15K, 18 minutes in. This has been, it looks like attack after attack, and every moment there is an uphill, it seems like there is somebody trying to go for it, Quentin, nonstop.
Yeah, nonstop. And I mean, that's how it goes with this Crit series. I mean, it's always fast and furious, intense from the get-go. And I mean, in France, for the Crit series that we have on the road, usually on some laps you have the speaker announcing on the line 15, 10, and €5 for the first 3. So maybe on Zwift we should have like 3, 2, 1 scones for the first 3 over the line at some point. Yeah, you put scones up at maybe the second and the fourth lap, and I think the race will get even faster.
Scones up on the first. Make sure we get the scones. I'm not who's providing them. We're gonna have to call up the series leader, see if he can ship to worldwide, as I'm pretty sure Kim Little's got a store of scones that outdoes any of ours out there. But we do have social media integration going on here today, everybody. If you do want to get involved in the broadcast, you can do so. It looks like Team Poland is in the house for the broadcast with the viewers, as well as I am seeing. It looks like Jacob Debsky here cheering on Team Poland. Good to see you there, Jacob, in the over at Zwift's Facebook. Now we are live on Zwift's Facebook, as well as it looks like we have suddenly lost one of our feeds here. We'll jump back into the women's race here, but for some reason we have suddenly gotten no signal for me from one of our feeds, and we'll get back in with the men's race though in just a moment here. But it looks like with social media integration, for those of you who want to jump into the broadcast, you can do so by chatting with us over on Zwift's Facebook, or you can also jump in by tweeting at Z Community Live over on the over on Twitter, or you can also shoot your pictures at us as well through Twitter as well of your Zwift setup, maybe your live racing. Any kind of set, anything like that, we can bring it right back into the broadcast. Now back in with the women's racing though, we do see it looks like Elliott here still with that minute 12 off the front. Angerman here 1:13 back at the front of this group. It does look like they were able to put a little bit of a dig in here though and drop a few off. Gray is off the back here. It looks like Reed here trying to hold on, going to be able to do so. Jen, Prince, Ludendorff, it looks like, as well as Highland. Kreider still in there. Cassie able to hang on, but Falk and Angerman trying to turn the screws at the front here and make something happen, Quentin.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have the best sprint, I mean, if you don't have the sprint that you want to have, the best option is to use these inclines to tire down the other riders and to basically drop some of them and to less riders facing you in the final sprint, and that's what they're doing every lap after lap. So yeah, I mean it's a tactic that we usually see in all races actually. Riders trying to slim down the peloton and trying to get the most elite group as they can as far as the race go.
So it looks like for the women's race here, are they going to be able to do this? They are whittling it down a little bit though here and there. Riders are falling off, so it does seem to be working here, but that's a lot of matches to be burning over and over again like that though. It might be a little bit dangerous to try and be the only ones breaking the group up here. And I've really only seen attacks over 4 to 5 watts per kilogram coming from the likes of Cassie, Angerman, and it looks like Falk there. But at the same time, perhaps the other riders only able to follow those and put in the hurt locker. I don't know. What do you think there, Quentin? Is that the right move, or wait for a sprint?
Well, it is. I think it is the right move to try to attack, to try to make some difference happen. Because as much as the draft matter, you still have to push. You still have to push a lot, and every attack these girls make is hard on the other ones. And if it doesn't have an effect this lap, it will have an effect sometime in the race at some point. And there are some very strong women in that race, and they are the one pushing this group, and they want to make separation happen. And I mean, if they don't do it, nobody will actually.
Yeah, that's true. It'll just end up sitting in. And the thing is, though, the final sprint into the volcano, though, on this course is definitely one that you can rely on, though, to be all about who is the strongest one that shows up for the day. But now, as we're speaking about that, Angerman showing us that she's not waiting up for anything, actually. Falk trying to follow there, 2 seconds off the back, actually. And this is really starting to become a race of attrition here where riders just are trying to hang on to these continual attacks, actually coming from Patricia Engelmann out of Germany here, the winner of last week's race, looking for some points on the board. Cassie following up. Falk off the back here. She's got to close this down now if these two will get off the front, because Cassie and Engelmann, both of them strong enough, I think, to hold on here.
Yeah, we saw that last week with Kristin and Patricia. It's Patricia attacked a lot in on the London course, trying to make some difference happen, and Kristin was always coming back every lap, every way she could, all the way until that last climb. So where Patricia showed she had some continuance in her attacks. So I mean, I think they want to be 2 or 3 to maintain some kind of advantage on the chasing pack, but they have to be very strong to get away. And now that there's 3 of them out in front with a couple of seconds of advantage, maybe they will try to cooperate and try to build this advantage.
Yeah, I think that is the magic number with these riders here in this group. 3 off the front now. We do see Engmo from PTZ here not giving up the ghost just yet. 4.1 watts per kilogram here on the front. Is it going to pay off, though? Is she going to be able to hold on to this pace on the front here? Doesn't look like she's getting a whole lot of help though just yet. And Falk now, it looks like, right along with Engelmann and the rest here with this climb, do have somewhere between 7, even 8 watts per kilogram to give on the front end of it. And the riders here in the chase unable to throw down that kind of wattage. It looks like it might not be happening for them, but still the story of the day is going to be Rachel Elliott off the front here. Still 162 beats per minute. We'll give her a ride on leader's jersey for her right now, and is definitely holding on to this pace. As you can see, Lambert here as well. Inslee as well. A couple of lap riders out on course finishing up their race, but about a minute 24 back to these attackers. But the story right now with them is going to be the 10 seconds they've opened up. Kreider trying to close it down. Did win the sprint, though, last week between the women, but not sure if it's going to be happening this week. It was on a flat last week with that aero power-up. Timed it perfectly, and perhaps Kreider can make another consistent effort amongst the group here, play it smart, and take the sprint from the group. But it looks like Falk, along with Cassie and Engelmann, are starting to get away. They're going to have to work together, though, as a team to make it happen here.
Yeah, they will have to work together, but the thing is, Rachel missed a week and a half of racing, I think. And well, she didn't have to, but I think she wanted to make a point today, saying I'm still here and I can still race the way I usually do. And well, after today, she's going to have 6 races in, and she will be 1 race away for a perfect score. Because if she wins 1 more race in the next 4 or 5. I think it's in the next 5 races. She will have the perfect score, so she will have a first place in the books, and I think that's what matters for this qualification, because that is the main goal of this series, is to get 10 women to the live event, and it doesn't matter if you qualify 1st or 10th. As long as you're qualified. And that's why the battle from 1st place to all the way to 20th and even behind is that as long as there's points up for grabs, you want to battle for those points and to make the best of each race, because every point you are going to get, it's good for your total, and it's points that your opponents are not going to get for this race as well. So it's really a battle of every race, and anything you can get out of these races.
So looking through here for this women's race, our men's race, we want to get back in with them. Our feed has, just so you guys know, apologies, but right now we are completely locked up It's nothing to do with Zwift. It's completely on our broadcasting side. So we'll see what we can do for that. We'll maybe get another Zwift opened up as fast as possible and throw you guys the feed from them. I'll go ahead and join up with maybe Kim Little or somebody I follow at the front end of that race as soon as I possibly can. We will be bringing the men's race back in, but for some odd reason it is not feeding through for us, so apologies on that. I'll get it going as soon as possible. So looking through here for the women's race, though, we definitely, let's talk a little bit, though, Quentin, about where things are at in the standings, though. Rachel Elliott on the ranking 20 overall. I mean, consistent. She wins every race she shows up to. She's almost got this lockdown at this point. It's the best 7. She just needs 2 more races for that spot, it looks like. And I think she'll be unattainable at that point. But we've got a whole lot of other women coming up through the ranks here, though, all the way down to like 12th place even. Even all the way out to, if I look through who's been showing up here, actually, I would say all the way out to 15th place, actually, for those who are still have a solid rank, actually, that have been showing up for the races and show that they can get top spots to grab the points needed to get into the final, actually. I mean, we're looking here at Ing Jensen, who's ranked 15.5 on average here, but with only 2 races. We're looking Carrie Conaber with only 3 races there, 16.7. Cassie Baldy with only 3 races, 17.7 that we're looking at right now on the screen, who's been showing up consistently for Team Experimental here. Third place, and then 1 off the podium there. Super consistent rider. Again, Kristen Falk that we've been watching over and over again, showing up here. 3 races, a second, a third, and then 1 off the podium. So definitely a whole lot of mixing up of a whole lot of change up is going to be taking place, I think, in these standings for those in the top 10, even for those who are just outside the top 10, might be able to grab some of these spots here because the spread is only about somewhere between 30 to 40 points between the top 15 and second place at this point.
Exactly. The thing is that with the best of your best 7 of your 10 races, you have to be consistent and try to make as many points as you can from each race. But with now being, if I recall right, race number 5. So it's a turning point of this series, and well, you have to at least get in this top position, even if it's just to see where you're at. And the good thing is with these averages, this rank column that we see, is that you see what the tendency is, and what is going to matter here is what is going to be the qualifying score. How much points do you need to get to that 10th place? And what do you need to do in the last 5 races to get there? And that's what most of the girls and the guys are looking for right now. They are over their calculators, trying to see, I need to place this and that at that race and that race. They are already trying to figure out what course suits them best. If it's the London Classic or the Volcano, or I don't even know if there's the Richmond Flat coming into play, which is the flattest course you can imagine. But it's all about these 10 spots, these 10 qualifying spots that everybody wants. Everybody wants to be in the live event, and as much as you want to win the race, you want to win the qualification.
Yeah, that's true. And that it is really going to be tactical in that respect. And I think as we get closer to the final races, we're going to have a lot of calculators out. A lot of points are going to be trying to be figured out. Where exactly do I need to finish to be on that cusp of the top 10, actually? Now, speaking of top 10, though, we do have these second through fourth right now, hanging on to these spots right here. And, you know, this group, I think there's a few women that are in this chase group that are like, if I can just make this group, because this group tends to get away often in this European race and is able to hold on to this this gap a lot of times. Now, it is only 14 seconds, though, that could be closed down if anybody in this chase group has a solid effort to close it down. But they are definitely going to be thinking about whether or not they can grab those points and go with that group from week in, week out. But now, real quick, everybody, we're going to take a little bit of a break here. So everybody knows this is sponsored by Tacx, presented by Tacx. The races are here, and we're going to jump into a couple of videos on what is Tacx all about, as well as a few of the events that are coming up for the weekend. We'll be right back with the sprints, as we do have a couple of difficulties here, but we'll definitely jump right back with the sprints in the men's and the women's races as the races do finish out. And that was Zwift Quest this weekend, everybody. Saturday is Zwift Quest Day out on Zwift. We're going to have a chat about that tomorrow with Zwift Quest creator Johnny Noblet, actually. So make sure to join us for Zwift Community Chat tomorrow, 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time, and 12 p.m. PST. So have a big old chat about everything Zwift Quest, Zwift Community Chat, Zwift Community Live Community Chat. Make sure to jump in with us tomorrow. We'll have all the social media integration going on. We'll be watching chat, and you guys will be able to follow along with us. Now, from the technical difficulties, we will be able to catch the final sprint for the men's and the women's, but it's coming from the same feed, just so you guys know. So we're going to need to stick with the men's race till the finish of the race here, and then we'll find our way back to the women's. If I can get the other feed back up, we'll jump into the women's race through the other feed, just so you guys and gals out there do know in the viewership. Looking through here now, we do see, it looks like V. Bruck here out of Germany with a solid attack, 32K in total so far for the race. And with 33 kilometers total, are we into the final here in just a moment here, Quentin? I think they're going to be battling it out on their last climb. Am I missing Quentin? Is Quentin here? I think we're missing Quentin.
Yeah,
as well.
I mean, we are
there we go.
coming to
We've got Quentin.
yeah, yeah.
Are we there, bud? Are we
Yeah.
good? I think we've got a
Yeah,
good
sorry
amount of
about
lag
that.
between
I
us
was
and Quentin.
one thing that we see today. Yeah. Uh,
Okay, so we're going to wait up for Quentin maybe to refresh his browser there. Now, looking through here, we do have Trzynski here now as phone as well. Burton, Bates, it looks like here, not a part of this sprint at all. Burton up toward the front of the race, though, with Trzynski, it looks like 4.9 watts per kilogram coming from him, 165 beats per minute right now. Not maxed out, it looks like. They're waiting for this final attack up and over the top of the climb. Usually, they are attacking at this point, actually, but nobody's going, actually. Cartwright, much more of a patient rider this time around, but Marcel now he is opening up the first one to go. Not always the first one to go that's able to take the W in these sprints here, but it looks like not going to be happening. I think he's going to be the lead out man. Sherritt, though, always a solid sprint from him, but Phone now the next one to make his way to the front. Is he going to be able to hold on to that attack, though? Very early. Bay now going to the front as well, it looks like, and now it's going to be V-Mail, though. I did call V-Mail as perhaps one of the ones that could take the W. Here come all the arrow power-ups one by one. Mail now up to the front, and he was able to take a sprint just a few weeks ago. Is he going to be able to hang on at the front end of this pack, though? And it's going to be Mail, 13 watts per kilogram. Here comes Cartwright. Is it going to be a Cartwright upset right at the line? KRT, neck and neck, and it's going to be Cartwright just barely picking it at the line. Solid sprint there coming from Mr. Tim Cartwright. Amazing effort there from him at the line. Tim Cartwright, V-Mail. KRT, unstoppable today, Quentin. I think we got you back. Hopefully. Quentin?
yeah, like I was trying to say before the sprint and before my crappy internet got me out, is that contrary at the opposite of last week and the week before, we didn't see Cartwright attack again and again. So it was kind of expected to see him in the sprint. He might have learned a thing or two if he wants to get that yellow jersey, and he was patient today, and well, we definitely saw how it went in the sprint. I mean, he was even at the 1 kilometer. He waited in Marcel's wheel, and that paid off. And I think with the rankings going as they are, we might see. Oh no, not just yet, but Soren Bay is getting a couple of points back from Kim Little, and the difference is coming to just a couple of points. I think there's just 3 or 4 points left between the two riders.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to take a look at the results here in just a minute. Let's take a look here at the let's take a look here quickly at the replay for the sprint there to see where maybe the top places were for this oh, sorry about that, guys. So there we go. We should be able to bring, there we go, the replay in for you guys. And it looks like here it was Mail here making his way to the line, and looks like Bay there, like you were saying, in the top spots. The coaster was there as well, Teselius, Raliak, but Tim Cartwright there coming on just at the last moments. And it looks like Bay there, I think, able to hold on to the third place on today, Quentin.
Yeah, third place for Soren Bay behind Villarmeer and Tim Cartwright, second and first. But winner from last week, Guy de Coster, is fourth on the day. It's just before James Phillips from Innovation.
Yeah, it looks like, look at all the arrow power-ups just being thrown down there, every one of them over the head. So it looks like Cartwright, Mail, Bay just barely, and then there was like 3 that are all going to be within just barely within, a probably not even a hundredth of a second. It's going to be very difficult to find that from the replay there, but we will definitely be looking for the result from ZwiftPower.com. Now we are looking around for the women's race here. I was just messaging production saying, hey, broadcast tools, because if I could click through and jump into the women's real quick, we would be able to find them real quick there. But we'll have to click around, and if we do find ourselves within the men's race, we'll be stuck within the men's race like this here, and maybe unable to get out of the men's race. And so we'll see if we can find the women's, though, or maybe some men finishing up their race, get us back outside of the men's event and back into the women's event here in just a moment. And we do have Angerman here. We were able to find her. There we go. Back on to the final lap within the women's event. And we do see it now starting to call the riders around them, which is good. So we'll be able to see just the women hopefully out on course here. It looks like Cassie as well as Angerman and Falk still all together there. 23 seconds. Never been able to gain too much of a advantage though over that chase group. It's been a definitely slogging it out through the 10th round here. It looks like all the way through for the finish now. It looks like, Quentin, for this women's race.
Exactly. The thing is that Rachel has an impact on the mental side of things that riders hesitate to chase after her. But when you have two groups like this with 3 women and 5 or 6 women behind them, the chase is going and they want to come back. So they will try to, as much as they can, to bridge, to bring back the group to the women just in front of them, and that's why the gap hasn't grown that much. And like we said earlier, there's so much density in that group that you need to be at least 3 to make some kind of gap.
You think maybe, Quentin, if there were not 3 here, if they tried to break one off, it might have actually hurt them more than it helped them?
Yeah, I think so. I do think so. I mean, there's a group dynamic going for both groups, and if if either the trio or the chasing group be to break that dynamic, it would be curtains for them. Either they would get caught or they would just lose the 3 spots.
Well, this is coming into the last half a lap here. We are seeing Angerman starting to turn it up the heat just a little bit in the volcano here. And we saw this from her last week. She doesn't seem to like a all-out sprint at the finish and tends to try and break the pack a little bit earlier here. Tends to be a rider that likes to use her VO2 max over her sprint to win the races.
Yeah, it might be that, but she also have a very good kick, like as we saw last week in the Trafalgar Cloud. She's able to kick into that 8, 9, 10 watts per kilograms, and that's always something to look for in a sprint, especially when it's an uphill sprint, like it is today on the volcano. So, I mean, Casey and Christine Falk must be very attentive to what Angerman is doing right now, because she might be the favorite of the 3.
I think you might be right there. With Angerman's a kick is definitely dangerous here, but they might be able to, if one attacks and they start playing a little rope-a-dope with her and start pushing off the front, acting like teammates a little bit, they might be able to break the stronger rider there. I've been in those situations in real life before where suddenly I've got somebody from two or 3 riders from other teams starting to attack me over and over again in the last few K, knowing that I might be the stronger rider in that group, and then find myself losing the race because I'm the one who has to continue to close that gap down over and over again. And they're just not willing to do it. And so we'll see if that happens. It doesn't look like that's going to be what's happening here. Now, the winner on the day is going to be Rachel Elliott. I am unable, though, I think, to leave this situation here to find Rachel. And Rachel might already be across the line, actually. And she is, actually. So I'm going to get right back to the group back here, as we do not want to lose this finish, at least. So Rachel Elliott will be the winner on the day, barring that we missed any kind of crazy dropout or anything from the race. I'm going to go ahead and double check here real quickly with the results, but I'm pretty sure Rachel's been across the line already by 2 or 3 minutes, as she usually does. It does look like Rachel, yes, with a 45.51 across the line. So that's when she did finish and take the W out there. And that will be her 6th win, actually, on the day. But now we've got the sprint for second heating up. And here comes Angerman on the uphill, Quentin. No power up yet, probably saving 11 watts per kilogram. Is this going to be it, Quentin, or were they going to be able to hang on?
Well, I don't know if it's going to be it, but it looks like it. And behind it's going to be who can come back. And with that arrow, that's gone. She's
they
gone.
only had the feather power ups, it looks like, and the arrow power up being a much stronger power up there. She's going to be able to walk away, but it's only 2 seconds. Falk might be able to pull something off at the end here. Angerman continues on, though. 8.4 watts per kilogram. Looks like she'd saved up just enough for this final 500 meters, and it is going to be Patricia Gangerman taking another solid sprint there out on course. It's going to be a 2nd place for her on the day. Cassie Baldy there now walking away from Falk, taking that 3rd place. Falk there taking the 4th place on the day. Now here comes Z Kreider. Always, it seems like, the strong one from the group, has a solid kick, and Z now 9 watts per kilogram coming from the Chase group here is going to be taking the W there from them. But now at the line there, K-Hole there just ahead of Vanderbeek, and then A-Back, and then it will be Highland. Next one across the line in the women's race. Ludendorff there, I think, rounding things out just ahead of, I believe it was Angmo across the line there next. But we'll wait for the results to finalize. Over at ZwiftPower.com, you can always find all the results on the day for all of the races that are going on Zwift over at ZwiftPower.com. The live results are updating, but we will wait for the official results as they do get updated. Let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening in the men's results. And usually, I think the league results do get updated pretty quickly as well for the standings, but looks like Tim Cartwright on the day, followed by Vidar Mail, Soren Bay, Guy DeCoaster, super consistent 4th place there. And with that win last week, there might be some change-ups here taking place. Now, looking through, Kim Little still holding on to that overall with 7 races. Him and Soren Bay, the only 2, though, that have 7 races there. Only ones with 7 races in there, it looks like, Quentin. So we're going to start seeing some others creeping up into those top spots.
Yeah, well, maybe not the only ones with 7 races, but
oh yeah, you're right there. Excuse me about that. That is Frank Buckloff, Tobias Mueller,
and Tobias Mueller,
also with 7. Yeah.
And it's important because it is 9th and 10th place. These are maybe the most important places in this series because they are the last qualifying spots. But the interesting thing is that there is a tie for 10th place between Mueller and Chris Vonus. And, well, that's very hard to set them apart. And they still have 5 races to decide which one of the 2 is going to take that 10th place. But you can't just eliminate guys like Phillips that we saw in the top 5 today. Who is in 12th place in the general classification. Mel is making his way up as well. Chati and Drujon are still in contention, and we saw the form of Drujon on the CVR World Cup League, where he was on the podium for the past 2 weeks. And, well, up until that 20th place, it's still up for grabs because there's only 20 points between, 20 or 25 points between the 20th place and the 10th place. And with 5 races to go, it's 20 points. It's just 2 or 3 places in the top 10. So still very much up for grabs.
Yeah, it is definitely very close there. I mean, that, like you were saying, between, I would say, I don't know, 15th, 16th place, only 2 and 4. I mean, I guess maybe they could grab enough points even without the best 7. Maybe if they have good enough results by showing up, and those who are in the top 10 currently with between 5 and 7 races might not be able to grab enough points compared to somebody who could show up and win or take a second place. And if they get 6 races in and get second places, and most of those are third places, and most of those, it'll be better than the 5, 10 places points they were getting from those, from those other places in the 10th through 20th. So yeah, I could see actually from 16th, even 17th place up, there could be some people looking at Tobias Krzywonos right now who are sitting in 10th place, 59 points. They're still right on that edge, and they got to show up and throw down some solid results all the way through the finish of this series still.
Exactly, and with 5 races to go, I mean, anyone with 2 or 3 races has still a lot of chances to get in. I mean, I'm thinking about someone like JT who raced twice and took 2 second places. If he decided next week I want to do that series, he might be one to get a spot in that top 10 as well, even if he's like 15th right now. But yeah, we see the likes of Adrian Timis, who was in the CVR World Cup in London, still working his way through just alongside the top 10, and with a very consistent placing. But all the guys in the top 13 have raced at least 5 races now. And they might be the one to follow in the coming weeks, as they seem to be the one that are the most consistent out on course.
Yeah, looking here, I am seeing Gavin Dempster there, 17 on average currently. Let's see here. Where is he sitting though in the rankings right now? Dempster there, 3rd overall. Super, super consistent there. Cartwright there, 5th place overall right now. Not quite as consistent, right on his wheel. But at the same time, when he wants to win, it seems like he just does. So, I mean, definitely watch out for Cartwright. He could end up with nothing but wins for the overall at the end of the whole thing. When it comes to those that count for his overall in the series, actually. So never count out Cartwright. BRT there with Whiteley there in 5th place overall still. Kim Little, though, still holding under his jersey. Barely, though, as there are a few creeping up on him pretty quickly here with 108 points there for Soren Bay. Now, these are updated, if I'm not incorrect. Is that right?
They are updated. And the thing is, for Kim, for Soren, and as well as for Frank and Tobias, the goal for the next 5 weeks is won't be to score points. It will be to improve the scoring, because now Kim has 114 points, and it seems like it's enough to be in the one of the top 10 positions. But these guys are going for the yellow jersey because, well, it's always cool when you have a jersey that the others don't, and they want that yellow jersey. And I don't know yet if for the next weeks they will add the points to that total and do the best of 7 at the end, or just how would you say that? Just subtract maybe the worst
I
week
think each
immediately.
week their worst will be dropped. Each week their worst will be dropped
Okay.
off from here on out. I mean, that's usually how series work, is that as the scoring is updated each week, and if it's a best of, then as it goes, the worst gets dropped off one by one,
Okay,
and the best of continues to be added up.
Exactly. So that's easier for us to follow the general classification as well, and for the riders, obviously.
So looking through here, then in the women's, then let's make sure to now we're gonna go ahead and switch scenes here. Now we do not have any more of the women's racers, though. It looks like no, Inslee's still hanging out on course. So there we go. Inslee, where's she standing in the overall actually? Here, and it looks like it's only Inslee here currently sitting in. It looks like 19th overall. Solid results are for her. She's going to need a few points to jump into that top 10, but 4 races overall total now. Obviously, Rachel Elliott here with a rank of 20 right now. First place overall, 6 races in, not even best of 7. 140 points is the maximum you can score. It looks like she's going to be scoring that if she shows up to one more race. Definitely going to be punching a ticket, no problem. Now, Z Kreider here, consistency has been key for her. Rank of 14.4, but still second overall with 7 races total. Patricia Angering with only 4 races in, sitting in 3rd place and has an average of 19.3 actually. I think 2nd place is up for grabs for her. She shows up for 1 or 2 more races, 77 points, but a total. Now, Anya Ludendorff, though, if she's able to get the better of Patricia soon, 74 points, only 3 points behind Patricia here. If she can find herself in a good breakaway, Patricia doesn't show up for 1 week, something along those lines, and she gets her 7th race in, you might see Anya jumping into that 3rd place overall, but she might be at risk, though, for a top 10, though, at the end of the series if she doesn't start getting a better rank, because her rank is a 12.3, though, although sitting in 4th place overall. A lot of these racers still looking for that best of 7, and I think the women's racing series here, we're going to see a lot more of this changing up of places in that top 10 because there's so much a discrepancy between the women right now. In the top 15, we've got 3 races, 5 races, 6 races, one with 7 races, another with 2 races, but solid high rankings though, even though with those with the 2 races. So things are really up for grabs at this point for anybody who just shows up.
Exactly. And the funny thing, as I'm looking at right now, is that 10th place is also a tie in the women's rankings, as William Inch Prince and Carrie Conaver are tied for 10th place with 54 points. So then again, a tie for 10th place for the qualifying place. That's something to look for in the coming weeks.
Wait, what's going on? Say that one more time. I'm sorry. One more time on that.
I was saying that 10th place is also a tie in the women's rankings with Prince and Conaber tied
Okay,
with
Conaber.
54
Gotcha.
points.
Okay, so looking through here. Yeah, okay, I'm seeing that Prince and Conaber tied for 10th, separated by 4 points there. No, they're not tied for 10th. Now, do I need to update this?
They're
Is this
tied.
not updated? Oh, yeah, you're right there. 54 points each. Conaber. So definitely be watching out for that. It looks like Frederick here as well. Team TFC. Changed up the name. Fred 76. Is that Fred 76? I'm pretty sure that's who that is, right?
Yeah, that's Fred 76. Exactly.
Okay.
She had some small troubles registering in Swift Power, but now it seems that everything worked out, and she's still very much in contention as well for that live event.
I think definitely one to watch out for there now. The likes of Cassie, Kristen, Jerlene, as well as Kirsten Pohl. Watch out for them. They don't have as many races in as Anya or Frederic. So I'd be watching out for them to be creeping up there and maybe taking that top 5 spots away, perhaps, from them. But they still will be in that 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th place and carry with 4 races. Willem and Prince there also sitting in 10th place. They might be able to jump into that 6th and 5th. I mean, there's a lot of jostling around that's going to happen, I think. And there's still those who are just outside of that top 10 that could have some breakthrough races there and grab some points there. So lots of crazy racing to happen still in these races. And here's the schedule coming up for the men's and the women's. I mean, we are currently sitting on January 18th. So we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 races to go through February 22nd in this racing series for the men's and the women's. Lots of places to be changing. Now we will be having the East eCrit broadcasted here on Zwift's Facebook as well as on all Zwift Community Live outlets later tonight. So make sure to tune in for that. That will be at 8 p.m. EST for the men's race that will be starting in game. And then for the women's race in game, the start is going to be 8:02 p.m. EST. We'll go live about 10 minutes early with some updates on everything that's been going on with the race series and some highlights from last week. Remember, tomorrow then as well, for those of you who are tuning in over in Europe right now, are going to be going to bed soon. Don't forget to tune in for Zwift Community Chat to talk about Zwift Quest, as this weekend is Zwift Quest weekend on Saturday. There will be events all day for Zwift Quest as well, and you can go find your way to these markers out on course. Your start is the volcano lap. Your end is the volcano lap arch as well, but you can hit all the markers in order that you want to complete your Zwift Quest. And here's a little promo. Zwift Quest weekend coming up. Community chat all about it tomorrow. But first, we're going to be having the North American eCrit as well, presented by Cyclops. But today's was presented by Tacx. That's going to be it. Today's Europe was Euro's crit was presented by Tacx. That's going to be it from us, Quentin. We will be back in just a few hours for some more racing.
Yeah, really exciting race today for the Europe edition, and we're expecting as much fireworks for the East in the US.
Yeah, the US, I think, crit is going to be on fire as well. The European crit, a little more active for sure today. And that was super exciting racing to watch. We'll make sure to be posting all about it through the week as well. Be watching for all the replays that we will be throwing out there for it. So we'll see you guys in just a few hours, though, for the NA crit out on Zwift. Thanks a lot for everybody tuning in, and great job to all the races out there, as always. Right on.